What's up, guys? Today we're going to do a quick video about my actual foundry, and I'm going to just show you how practical it is to get into foundry work, and how to just basically set up a foundry for under 75 bucks, and I'll just show you how I did it. I've said before, at the very heart of this burner is a Harbor Freight weed torch. If you want to see the actual name, it is a Greenwood propane torch. And I got this from Harbor Freight for a whole $20. After that, we took a 2-inch pipe coupler, turned it on the lathe a little bit just to get the inner diameter just perfect, and we welded it onto the tip of this. Then, the entire purpose of this is to have an interchangeable tip so we can continue to use this burner time after time after time, and it doesn't oxidize and destroy this tip. So, little more expensive than what was necessary. I actually started just with this $20 burner, but for longevity, I would recommend from the start, spending the extra $5 for the coupler and the extra $5 for the tip itself. The rest of the burner was actually recycled. So we can see this piece right here is just kind of a little piece of ventilation. So we can see this part is more of just a funnel actually, and it just slides right on here so you can get the forced air into the burner. So those holes provide the forced air. And then all you really need is some way to get the air inside. So this piece was actually made from scrap of a dryer, an old used up, ready to be recycled dryer. And you can see I kind of showed you just the general process. You cut triangles out, bend the tips, and then use some kind of a flame retardant tape in order to seal it and obviously not catch on fire because it is close to something that gets, upwards of 15 to 2,000 degrees at the very tip of the flame. Anyways, very simple, very, very cheap and not very hard to do. I just used tin snips and a hammer, and this is where I got with it. And then all I would do to finish this is just cut it off, and then I would be able just to slide, that end piece on, and I would have, the another ventilation piece for another burner just like this. So after that piece goes on, getting back to the topic, you would put this on, and you have a little hole in here that I initially covered up with duct tape. I'm going to work on that a little bit better. So we would just end up putting a clamp on this, feeding it on, feeding the tube in, and then this would just go right through that tube. Now you would imagine there's a massive amount of air loss, so this is where the duct tape comes in. You come in, tape it all nice and pretty, get it all shut, get it all sealed after you get this screwed in. Then from there comes the fun part, the forced air portion of our burner. So you can go the expensive route, you can go to Harbor Freight, you can go to Home Depot, you can get a ventilator, and you can spend, upwards of $50, $60, $100+ for a fan. And this looks fancy and everything, but I actually got this for free. And this right here, minus this and minus this, is actually the blower motor on a flat top stove. Flat top stoves go out, they're expensive to replace, and so a lot of times they just scrap the whole thing. Know where to get it, and you can just get it, and all you have to do is correctly wire in a cord, because the outlet is not going to plug into your standard outlet. There's a special outlet that it has to plug into the wiring of the stove. Really not that hard, just a basic color matching, and you could wire up this thing. So this piece, we welded on a little piece of steel, which was actually kind of difficult not to burn through. But we welded it on and cut out this circular piece so we can have some restriction here. So I can get all the way to completely restricted to all the way open. And all the way open I never use. Usually the max of what I do is that, unless I'm trying to melt copper, then I go pretty all out. So besides that modification, we have this modification. Again, getting back to that dryer duct that I scrapped, we have that piece, and we actually just took that piece off of this piece right here. Screwed it in place, put some Bondo in to seal up the hole, and painted it black to make it all pretty. So that is a very, very simple way to do it, very effective. And honestly, that is the burner by itself. And it just looks like that. Air goes in, and gets the right fuel mixture, and gets hot enough to actually melt our refractory material if we are getting a little overzealous and not paying attention to our melting temperatures. So as it stands, this refractory material has melted copper, which is 1900 degrees. However, there's one day I was getting overzealous and impatient, and we can see down here where it vitrified. So this vitrification was caused by me getting impatient and cranking it. You can see the burner would come in right there and blow right at that surface. And that's what caused the vitrification. Impatience in melting copper. Copper is kind of a challenge for this foundry, and this material, at least. The burner doesn't seem to have that much of a problem with it. However, you can melt copper. You just need to take it a little bit slow. So the burner, we were up to $20 plus the $5, or $20 for the Harbor Freight burner, $5 for the coupler, $5 for the nipple, and then everything else was actually recycled. So we were right at $30 for all of that. And obviously the propane tank, everybody has a propane tank lying around, so I haven't calculated that into this. The refractory material, I'm not going to go into specifics about mixing it, but just so everybody knows, it's 1.5 parts Portland cement, 2 parts silica sand, and 1.5 parts perlite mixed with 2 parts fire clay. Mix it to a cookie dough consistency, and then you actually can cast or use it and make your refractory material. This right here was actually me not getting it done correctly, and this is actually a second layer, which is now why it's flaking off. But this is one solid layer, and it has been standing up just fine. And it just, it's taking a beating, but fire after fire, it's held together pretty well until I decided to abuse it with the copper melt that I did that time. So altogether, each product is about $10. So $40 plus $30 is right around $70. So we are right around that $70 mark. And then I picked up this pail and that lid over there for another $10. And then I just had some pipe for the feet that I had laying around and some rebar for the lid. And there you go. A simple, effective burner and foundry. It's taken beating after beating. It's thrown everything I've put at it up until this point. And this was actually my first experiment, so the next time I could do it a whole lot better. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them down in the comments. I'll see if I can answer them. Obviously, I'm not a professional here. Always do your research. If you like this video, go ahead and like, subscribe, and we're going to get some more casting videos soon. This is just going to kind of be a nitty-gritty video just to show you guys the burner, and then we're going to get a little bit higher quality casting videos out. We got about 2 or 3 that are still in the works. and it's just taking a lot of time to edit those. So hope to see you guys soon, and let me know what you guys think.